All right. Welcome to all of our attendees for our latest webinar in 2024. This one is all about medical aesthetic social media trends. And no, you're not going to hear from me very much because I'm not the social media expert, but I am somebody who's going to be asking a lot of questions. If you don't know who I am, my name is Kevin Wilhelm. I am the founder and president of Lift Aesthetic Marketing. I have worked with hundreds of healthcare practices across North America with their marketing, which does involve a little bit of social media. But for today, I'm bringing in a heavy hitter. I'm bringing in an expert, and it's Tanya Pointkina. Is that correct? I know you had to help teach me that last name, Pointkina. She is our manager of organic social media. Tanya has been with us for several years, done a fantastic job managing our organic social media team. Welcome to the webinar, Tanya.
Hi, Kevin. I'm very excited to speak to our audience. Social media is my passion, so I appreciate any opportunity to talk about it.
Amazing. Well, let's just dive right in. I mean, why are we having this webinar today? Why social media? Why did we choose to do the webinar today on this?
That's a great question. I think that at this point, most businesses, they do understand the importance of social media, but I just want to talk about a few numbers here. So first of all, social media is considered to be one of the top 3 channels where people get information to make decisions about their skincare purchases. And same applies to cosmetic treatment decisions. It's top 6 channel. And I just want to talk a little bit about how social media is being used today as a search engine. Essentially, people use social media platforms to search for businesses they want to become clients of. And that's why the algorithms on social media are now tailored to work with keywords so much, so people can get better results for whatever they're searching for. So please do treat your social media pages as your second website, as I like to say. So another number that I want to share is that 41% of patients follow their current or potential provider on Instagram. And today, the consumer behavior is changing a lot, and people only want to work with businesses they share same values with. And social media is a great opportunity for you to talk about your values, show your faces, show your character, and that's how you will create these meaningful connections with your potential patients. And the last thing that I wanted to mention here is that social media presence drove 43% of appointment scheduling decisions. And that is just a great proof that social media is not just a brand awareness tool that you use to speak about all the amazing things you do in the practice, but it creates the foundation for lead generation. So what we like to say here is that brand awareness goes hand in hand with lead generation, and one supports another. So these two tools should also be part of your marketing mix.
I love it. I mean, when you think about the importance of social media for an aesthetic practice, before a patient comes in, before they do their consult, before they get to actually meet with the provider, it's kind of a commoditized industry. We're offering similar services. We have similar brands. Maybe you bring in unique technology to help you stand out, but really, how are new patients, new customers making buying decisions? Because even websites are sort of static, even if you're updating it pretty regularly, it's not every day. And so really social media to me is the key to helping a practice stand out, a clinic to stand out and differentiate themselves amongst their competitors, because you can show inside the practice, you can show the treatments, you can show the personality. So all of what you're sharing here makes total sense for me, but specifically in the aesthetics industry, it is far more important than I think most industries. So when we think about aesthetics specifically, what I'm curious is, in your experience, what are you seeing that's trending? Like industry content, what are the areas, the content pillars that people are caring about?
Yeah, there are actually a few things that I wanted to mention today. So I will talk about 3 main trends that we see in the industry and that are reflected on social media. So the first one is non-invasive procedures and treatments. So today we see non-invasive procedures to be on the rise, and they generate a lot of revenue for that market. The second trend that I will talk a little bit more about is the overall health and wellness education and the importance of taking care of holistic wellness of your patients. So here I just want to mention really quick that millennials are becoming the biggest buying power on the market. So we're talking about people in their 30s and 40s, and millennials are wonderful. I consider myself to be a millennial, so I can speak confidently about them. So what is very special about millennials is that they never want to feel like someone is trying to push them to buy anything. So whatever you do in your marketing has to be tailored to work for millennials. And the last trend that I will talk a little bit more in depth about is patient empowerment and collaboration. Today, we see the relationship between doctors and patients changing a lot with the amount of education and information patients are consuming about aesthetic treatments. So, and I will expand a little bit more on that. So we can talk a little bit more now about non-invasive procedures. So the future is non-invasive. So when we talk about non-invasive procedures, what comes to our mind first is energy-based devices, such as lasers and radio frequency technologies. So why do people find these services so attractive these days? So one, patients, they still prioritize results. They want to see results, but at the same time, as they're undergoing the procedures, they want to feel really safe and comfortable throughout the whole process. The whole concept of achieving your beauty goals through going through so much pain is just not there anymore. So, and also another benefit of laser and radio frequency treatments is that it's so accessible and convenient. You can do these during your lunch break. You can get a procedure done and go to see your friends. You don't need to hide and recover for weeks. So, and yeah, that's why we see non-invasive technologies and specifically laser and radio frequency to be so popular these days. Yeah, so what does that mean for you? So first, one thing that I want to mention is that we need to recognize that there are many at-home devices available on the market that allow you to do some laser and radio frequency treatments at home. So the opportunity for the practices these days is to educate the patients on the importance of getting these procedures done with a professional because it's more effective, it's safe, and the professional can create a treatment plan for the patients that involves multiple treatments to achieve some long-term goals of the patients. So it's not a threat, it's more of an opportunity for you to just educate your patients. And also, as we talk about these aesthetic treatments to become parts of self-care rituals for your patients, a great suggestion for you, an idea for your content. So you can go to your staff members and you can encourage them to just film some videos and share the treatments they get done themselves. So that you create this like proof for your patients, and you just create this transparency around the procedures that you offer as a practice. So one trend that you could have noticed on social media is influencers talking about their high maintenance routine that allows them to be low maintenance in the day-to-day life. So I'll explain a little bit more. Influencers just talk about these treatments that they get from time to time that allow them to look great and feel great and don't spend that much time every morning preparing themselves for the day. So again, this is a great idea for your content that you can easily create in the practice. Just let your staff talk. Get them to explain to the patients what do they do to be low maintenance in their day-to-day life. So yeah, these are just like some of the ideas I wanted to suggest to talk a little bit more about these self-care rituals. And we can move on to the next trend.
I just want to ask one question before we do that. So
Absolutely.
you kind of talked about safety in here,
Yep.
and if you are a clinic owner, I think that is one of the key differentiators for you versus, you're right, all of these sort of mobile or at home or just kind of like pop-up type aesthetic clinics. How important do you think it is that when we're talking about the technologies, we're talking about really like legitimate businesses, to highlight in your social media the steps, the procedures, the processes that the business goes through to be safe? Because I feel like as a consumer, when you're choosing a provider, it comes down to risk mitigation. So I'm going to let somebody put lasers on my face, inject in my face. I want to make sure that I have the least amount of risk possible. And I really see the opportunity for social media and clinics to talk about the safety and talk about what they do to lower that risk. How important do you feel that aspect is for clinic owners to focus on in their social media?
It is very important. So what I just mentioned about millennials becoming such a large part of the audience, that's exactly what millennials want to see. They do not want to take on risks. They want to be safe, and they want you to show to them exactly how comfortable they will be throughout the whole process and how safe they are. So absolutely, it is very, very important. And again, like, hey, you have your staff members, let them do the treatments on camera if they're willing to do so, if they're willing to participate, and that will become a great proof again for your audience that this is safe, we do it, we smile while we're getting these procedures done, so you should too.
Yeah, one thing that and I'll move on here, but one thing that I have said to practice owners time and again have been, the more you can communicate the safety and the trust, the more you can charge. And so in a world where it feels like we have to continually lower our pricing to stay competitive, I'm going to urge everybody to focus on communicating how you provide safety and trust and the experience you have. Because if you can lower the risk, you can charge more for that. And so you can hold tight on higher prices as long as you can communicate effectively that you are a safe option. So just something to kind of keep in mind. But let's move on. Let's talk about that second trend that you're noticing. Really looking at beauty isn't skin deep.
Yeah. So today beauty is so much more. It's not just about doing some procedures to keep your skin looking the best it can, but it's also about taking care of your whole body, your wellness and well-being in general. And as this trend becomes more and more visible, when we actually look at skincare, the approach to skincare changes too. So we expect a lot more focus to be on restoring skin barrier and hydrating the skin instead of doing more harsh procedures like chemical peels, for example. So this again is a great opportunity. What that means for your practice, right? So you can shift again your focus towards hydrating treatments like HydraFacial. When it comes to some of the harsh treatments like chemical peels, I'm not saying that you necessarily don't need to do them. It's an opportunity for you to change the narrative around them, I would say, and just again adding that education piece and explaining how you can make this procedure safe for your patients, and also what are the what do they need to do after the procedure to ensure their skin is safe and protected from the sun, for example. So yeah. And also a trend that we see on social media these days is glow ups. So if you look up on these keywords on TikTok or YouTube, you will see a lot of influencers just doing a challenge and spending a day or a couple days to do a combination of different treatments, a haircut, a facial, maybe just like dyeing their eyebrows, maybe getting a new outfit, and they create this beautiful self-care routine that gives them a very like good before and after, and they feel so great, they feel so empowered. And this is called a glow up. It's again something you don't do every day, but when you just feel a little down, when maybe like it's winter season and you just feel a little bit gray, that is the great time to do a glow up. So what it means for the practice, think about the packages. Think about a package of treatments you can offer to your patients, maybe a hydrofacial, maybe something else, not invasive, but just something that will allow your patients to feel really great and just empowered. So that is a suggestion also. Yeah. So that is just some few things that I wanted to mention about overall well-being of patients. And now I want to talk a little bit more about the education piece. I think I've been mentioning it quite a few times throughout the webinar. And with how accessible information is these days, with how much education you can get from all the platforms, the relationship between patients and doctors is changing so much. It's becoming way more dynamic. So in previous days, a doctor would be instructing and directing the patient, and patient wouldn't have too much knowledge of the options they have for the treatments they can get done. So now patients, they know so much from social media, and not only social media, and they can be way more involved and engaged in the treatment process. So some may see it as a threat, but I encourage you to see it as an opportunity, because patients can be a source of great insights for you. So when you hear certain concerns from patients, you can correct your wording. You can find the right words to say to your patients to alleviate these concerns. And yeah, so I know that these days, even the question exists whether a patient that is too educated is a problem or not. And I thought that maybe we can even discuss that a little bit more. What do you think, Kevin?
Honestly, I don't think so. I look at it like, what an opportunity to answer questions when you're not in the consultation room. And I think about what information a buyer must know in order to spend $500, $1,000, $5,000 in a program, treatment program. They're going to have a lot of questions. They may feel like the consultation is a place where it's a little bit of pressure situation. They may be reluctant to ask all their questions, and they may leave not having all their questions answered. And so I look at it as, if social media can educate, answer all those questions that your patients have, and it can be that great tool, education tool, 24 hours a day. You post a video, it can be what we call evergreen, which means it's always relevant, and it can live on your Instagram page, it can live on a YouTube page, it can live on your website. You can mark it in the highlights for stories, you can pin it. But you can really just answer these questions so that when your patient comes in the consultation room, they have questions that are just closing questions, and they've already made up their mind. So if they are too educated, to me, it means that they are ready to buy and they just have a couple final questions. And so I personally see this as an opportunity to just educate and really answer all the questions that your patients have before they even make a phone call and book an appointment.
I absolutely agree with you, Kevin. And if I can add my 2 cents, I've been thinking, like, how can a well-educated patient who knows a lot about the treatments be a threat or a challenge for the doctors? And as I think about it, so for example, let's imagine a patient is coming into the practice and they have very certain expectations of the results they want to see from the treatment because they saw it on social media, they saw some influencers getting the same treatments. I actually think that it's not necessarily, with all the respect, it may be lack of education when patients are coming in with certain expectations, because actually the results that you are getting, they depend on so many factors, and only the professional can tell you what you can expect, right? So this is an opportunity to work with a patient and provide more knowledge and be that trustful source of information for them, right? To again work with some of the kind of false, some misconceptions they may be getting from other places. And same comes to pricing. A patient may come in and say that, hey, I saw these really cheap prices from another provider. So this is an opportunity for you to say, well, here's how the pricing works. The pricing really depends on the quality of equipment the practice has, on the quality of materials they're using in the treatments, and that affects the price. So again, just explaining of why things are working this certain way. It's your opportunity to educate the patient the proper way.
Absolutely. So I'm going to change my answer. I still stick by a patient can be, they cannot be too educated, but they can definitely be too miseducated, and they could come in with the wrong information. So, so those are the industry trends. Let's just dive into social media. You know, if we have a slide on this, you know, what is the impact? I mean, I'm gonna ask you a couple of these questions. They're all right here, but really what I want to know is, what are we seeing in the social media world? Which platform do you feel is the most effective? Can you be on too many? What is AI, like artificial intelligence? What does that have to do in today's world? How can we use it? Maybe just talk a little bit about just the world of social media technology and how we can really just, and what you're seeing.
That's many questions, Kevin, you're asking, but let me go one by one. So you're asking about the platforms and can you be on too many platforms? So, you know, with social media, things are changing so fast every single year. In 2023, we saw the addition of Threads on Instagram. Twitter was renamed, it's X now, and just like the TikTok continues growing, the video content continues to evolve. So things are always changing. So absolutely, I do agree that there's that challenge. Hey, I only have this much time. Where should I put it? So my answer would be just be strategic about it and intentional, and pick the platforms that help you the most. You cannot do it all. Focus on the key platforms. And I also, if we have some time left, something that I can speak about is just creating more effective content creation workflows that allow you to create content from one platform, but then reuse it for multiple platforms. So let's see where we at. I would love to have some time to speak about that specifically. But the short answer, no, you do not have to be on every single platform. So if I move on to the AI part of your question, AI is another challenge that we are not a challenge. Let me correct myself. It's a tool that exists that poses both some challenges for the industry, but also opens up the room for so many efficiencies. So AI, my short answer, absolutely do use AI to help you create content. But my recommendation would be, please do never generate content with AI and just put it online. That is not good enough. With how AI tools work today, they don't necessarily follow the regulations of the medical industry. They will give guarantees left and right, and you do not want to post that on social media. So use it as a tool, but then absolutely you have to add a human touch to it. You have to edit, and that will allow you to create beautiful content. Also, something to consider is please never put your patient information into an AI, because you cannot guarantee how secure this information will be. So just avoid doing that, and also choose the AI tools that have more of an open ethic policies, like OpenAI is a great recommendation. So you can feel a little bit more safe while using it. Yeah, and also another trend that I wanted to quickly mention is that people are looking for meaningful connection on social media. So I have a little number here. 34% of consumers say self-promotion is a major turn off on social media. People need genuine connections and they need engaging content instead of seeing that someone is constantly trying to sell things to them. Actually, a great something that I want to mention is, if you know, Instagram is implementing a new feature. They're testing it right now that's called Flipside. And with that feature, users will only be able to share their content with a private audience, just a small group of people they selected to share this content with. And this is another proof that social media platforms are building features that will help people on social media create these meaningful connections. So what does that mean to you? Create authentic content. Don't use too much CTAs, call to actions in your captions, and just be genuine. So another side of that trend is de-influencing. That's a tricky word to say. So again, because everyone has this fatigue from influencers constantly trying to sell you something, now we have a new generation of influencers who are saying that you don't need to buy this. You don't need to get this treatment done. Save your money and maybe do this instead because it's more effective. So there's that de-influencing trend on social media that you also need to keep in mind. And actually, de-influencing also applies to the trends where influencers are showing more of their real faces, real skin texture. No one wants to see a picture perfect look on social media because everyone is well educated now and we know about filters, we know about all the apps you can use to perfect your image. So the recommendation that I have to you, be genuine, do not use any retouch on before and afters, and just overall avoid it as much as you can to be more authentic on social media.
I love it. Well, I mean, that's it for today. We wanted to keep it short. We wanted to keep it sweet. There's some really powerful information in that. Thank you very much, Tanya. For those that are watching, we do have a little gift for you. It is a social media calendar for 2024, sort of highlighting those key dates, some key ideas. If you go to our website, which is liftaestheticmarketing.com, if you go to our resources tab, there's a free downloads page. It's the first thing you can click on right now. So please take advantage of that. I want to say a big thank you to you for coming on and giving a ton of great advice. So thank you very much, Tanya. And thank you to our audience. And if you have any questions, whether it's marketing related, social media related, website related, please email us at info@liftaestheticmarketing.com. We will get back to you right away. And we just want to say, we'll see you next time. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kevin. It was a pleasure.